All right, time for grammar voyages. So we're going to get our grammar voyages notebook, workbook, and pencil, and we definitely need a highlighter for quite a bit of what we're going to do today. We're going to be on page 92 is our actual lesson, adverbs that tell when or how often. And then we want to do our daily maintenance first. So let's flip back to page 88. We're working on lesson 6.2. So our sentence is, the red apple tastes sweet. So let's answer our questions together. What is the simple subject? So the one word in the subject that tells what the whole sentence is about. I'm going to write that word on my board. I want you to write it on the line. And then we'll see. Did you write apple? I hope so. Good job. Now, number 2, what's the simple predicate? What's the one word in the predicate part of the sentence that tells what is happening? I'm going to write that one word on my board, and I want you to write it down. And then check. Did you write tastes? Good job. Then our third question is going to review something from our adjective unit, and that it was subject complements. So remember that a subject complement is an adjective that is used in the predicate part of the sentence. So you're going to find it at the end after the verb. What adjective is used in the predicate part of the sentence as a subject complement? It tells more about apple, but it's used after the verb. So I'm going to write it on my board, and you write it down on yours. And that, of course, is the word sweet. Sweet. All right, I'm going to erase real quick, and let's do our diagramming. Of course, this is the second time you've done it all on your own without any lines, so I hope you're doing great. And you feel confident. You should. You've done so much of this year. You could even do compound sentences without the lines. I'm almost done. I hope you are. Okay, here we go. Is this what you drew? We always draw the long line. We always split the long line up and down. That tells us where the subject ends and the predicate begins. And usually we have a subject complement. So, apple tastes sweet. And you know what we should have done? I'm going to change that. That should be a diagonal line there. I'm sorry. There we go. Apple tastes sweet because sweet goes with the subject. It tells more about it. And then I have 2 other describing words underneath this and red that tell more about the apple. I have one apple that is right next to me, and it is red. All right. Let's turn to page 92 now to adverbs that tell when or how often. And I'm going to put this down. It's in my way. The lid to my marker, and I'm going to erase real fast. And we're going to review real quick what an adverb is. We've done one lesson with it. Adverbs are words that describe our verb, and they can tell how, and that's what we practiced so far in the actual workbook, but you've written sentences by adding these many different kinds of adverbs to them in our bump book. So we have practiced adverbs that tell how with adding ly to the end of the word to make it an adverb. But there are other kinds of adverbs, ones that tell when or how often. And these are place and time order words. There are some that end in ly, like early or daily or seasonally. But most of them are their own word, like first, tomorrow, outside. Some can be phrases, in front of. So we're going to do a bunch of highlighting. The 2 top parts. I'm going to do 2 examples and number 1 through number 8. And then I'll just do one on the other 2. So for the first part, we're just identifying and finding the adverbs that tell how often or when. So you're going to highlight them. It says underline, but remember to highlight. So Adam hurt his ankle again. Remember, adverbs can be found at the beginning, at the end, or by the verb. They don't have to be directly in front of the verb, or like an adjective does. This one's at the very end of the sentence. The word that tells when is again. And so you should have highlighted it in that sentence. And it happened to be the last word in the sentence. Number 2, the girls arrived at the dance early. Again, it's a when word, and it is at the very end. It happens to end in ly. And you should have highlighted it. Now you're going to keep going and do 3 through 8 on your own. You can stop the video and do it now, or wait and do it at the end. For the second part, number 9 through 14, you have choices. You have either 2 how words, or how often words, or 2 when words. And you're going to put those, you're going to highlight, not circle, highlight, the one that makes the most sense in the sentence. We are going camping, and you can choose from yesterday or tomorrow. If we say we are going, one of them does not make sense. That's right, yesterday does not make sense, because that's past tense. That would not, people would read your sentence and go, what? So the word that we would highlight is tomorrow. So that's simply what you're doing, is reading, choosing the adverb that tells when or how often, and that makes the most sense in the sentence, and highlighting it. And you can finish 10 through 14 on your own, either now by pausing the video, or at the end. At the very bottom, you get to do your own ideas, but remember, they have to tell when or how often. Have to tell when or how often. You can't put ly words in here like patiently or anything like that. They have to be a time kind of word. All right, some of them you get to do 2, some of them you get to do 1. Number 11 says, I blank eat blank. So I want to put 2 words that tell when or how often to complete this sentence. That is a strange sentence. I blank eat blank. All right, I think I got an idea. That was a tough one. I'm glad we're doing it together. I'm going to say I weekly, which means every week. I'm going to put that on the first line. I weekly eat after 7 o'clock. And after 7 o'clock is an adverb phrase that tells how often. Actually, it tells when. This tells how often. All right, so I weekly eat after 7 o'clock. That was a very rough. I'm glad you didn't have to do that one on your own. So you are going to finish the last of them, 12 through, I believe it's 14, on your own, coming up with your own ideas. If you get stunk for time order words, you can look up through the other sentences because they have lots of good examples, or you can ask for help. I know Mom and Dad can help you, but make sure you're not interrupting them when they work. Now, you're going to read me what you wrote for 12, 13, and 14. So I want to hear those 3 sentences to make sure you understand what adverbs that tell when and how often are. All right, see you tomorrow.